Hello there. It's been a while since my last video, hasn't it? Well, I've been playing Xenoblade 3 for one thing. A number of other games besides. This is sort of a pre-commentary, so to speak, for Xenoblade 3 anyway, so you should be seeing Xenoblade 3 right now. At the time I'm recording this, I am just about ready to enter the end game. I think. Feels like the end game anyway. At least that is where my levels indicate that I should be. So I have thoughts. Now, the kind of sad thing for me is that I have decided to just not play any more Xenoblade games, just whatever the reason. And that is because the gameplay is just not my thing, not even slightly. With that said, Xenoblade 3 is by far, for me, the most enjoyable Xenoblade game from from a strictly gameplay aspect. I got into old Xeno thing, starting with Xenosaga Episode 1 on the PlayStation 2. Back when, the Xeno series was a turn-based JRPG series of games. And turn-based games is what I prefer to play. These action-based things, they're just too messy for me. Too much going on, too much stress. I feel I just can't really get into the system at all. I mean, which, to be fair, is a limitation on my end. I'm not being like the sort of people who claim random encounters are bad just because I don't enjoy action-oriented gameplay. Far from it. It's just I don't enjoy it. I will defer to other people's authority or more experience with action gameplay on whether the combat system is any good in the Xenoblade games, and that is all I intend to say on that right now.
Wow, is that true?
Yeah, you bet.
One thing that I really don't think people have been paying enough attention to when they rant and rave about Xenoblade 3. I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of good things about it. But what impressed me was that this little flute melody that you play while sending off husks and things, that is actually something that has a character development arc. Yeah, fight me on that. I declare that little flute tune to be a story character. What do I mean by that, you say? Well, I'm also having some funny tea, but hey, that's just how I roll. See, the thing about the theme is that I feel that it develops in how you perceive it. It doesn't really, the theme itself doesn't change much. I don't think it changes at all. But when you first hear it, it's just this little flute thing that, okay, well, this is kind of serene, peaceful, and quite strange. Okay, but I'll take it. Then, as you go on, and you learn more about the situation of the world, the significance of it changes over time. It keeps drifting from one meaning to the next, and then when they do the thing with the flutes at the transition to chapter 6, yeah,
Still,
the feels were real, I tell you.
now I want to go.
Just,
I need to see it.
yes,
A world wide open.
thank you, Monolith for doing that. And
You're not
strangely
like that,
enough,
are you?
I,
It's a sad world, but you're trying to
having
change
a
it.
musician
Am I
background, I actually do not credit Yasunori Mitsuda
If there
for
are people like you in that world,
crafting this,
well then,
well,
I'm sure it's wonderful.
quote-unquote
And
excellent bit of music.
What I want to see.
It doesn't really have to be anything, really. It doesn't have to be anything special. Doesn't have to be sad. Doesn't have to be cheerful. Doesn't really have to be anything. It just has to be the thing that it is. And they use, I think it is only 2 themes, one from Kevis and one from Agnes. And they play them side by side, I do believe. Well, depending on who does the sending off. If it's just Noah or Mio or both playing at the same time. So I guess there are 2 tunes then, but Mitsuda crafted them to be possible to combine. That, I'll grant you, is not as simple as it seems. But if you just compose the piece with that in mind when you start, hey, Mitsuda has the skills for that. It's just, yeah. He has had different challenges through his career. Maybe I should say, by the way, that I am in no way knocking that melody. It is fine the way it is.
Glad you like them.
Solid bit of work.
Give it 3 more days.
I'm just not going to say that this one little piece of music is a display of genius, because there is a lot better music
Let's go.
in the soundtrack. And speaking of the soundtrack,
What kind of place is this?
I just can't get over how much they've drifted back to the sort of it's kind of hard to put a finger on what I mean, actually, but sort of a stylistic language. In Swedish we talk about tonspråk. Tone language is a direct translation. I am not aware of any good English translation for that, actually, but generally it is a question of style. And I feel that the sort of JRPG standard shovelware, almost, that you had in Xenoblade 1, going to the, as they call it, eclectic, just bastardized blend of whatever the hell, I forget the guy's name. Well, anyway, the Gundam guy. What he made for Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U. Moving then on to the more big bandy thing in Xenoblade 2, and then the jazzy stuff in Torna. They have now drifted back to something that sounds much more like what we got in Xenosaga. Well, Xenosaga episode 1 and 3, specifically. Since I enjoy those 2 particular games immensely, I
thank you.
cannot describe how amazed I am to hear it.
I'm afraid we will not
I
be leaving this place.
wish I had the volume up higher when I play the game myself, actually, so I can, well, really feel it. Yeah,
Prospered in this land we call home,
I had to.
even knowing war rages on constantly in the outside world.
Okay, so
If that war is to reach our land, then I'm happy to accept our fate.
what else was I thinking about?
Or
Yeah, I'm getting old, by the way. I'm just about to go and get my eyes checked because I
Outsiders.
feel that they are getting a little
Thanks
bit
for assisting Nimwe's team.
worse.
Prepared chambers.
My mother's sort of,
That is only
let's just say
control.
she's encouraging me to
I would ask
do
you to
that.
leave. We must follow the path which fate has set for us.
So maybe I'm starting to get things as well. What else was there? Oh yeah, the pacing of the story. I feel that that is also very reminiscent of the pacing we had in Xenosaga episode 1 and 2, specifically. Xenoblade 3, yeah. Oh, ugh, I had to wash my mouth now. Xenosaga episode 3, of course, they tried to condense the story from 4 planned entries in the series into one game. So, understandably, they had to just rush some things there, and well, yeah, it got more hectic, more stressful there. So we get more time to digest the story points in episode 1 and 2, and I feel that this game is exactly the same in that way. I appreciate that. And they throw some big questions at us, big twists, and yeah, there is a lot to digest. So, preferring slightly slower pacing, I am very well catered to. Now, yeah. Coming from Xenosaga, I do think that the setup is sort of like we are these Realians, and then we take a page from Blade Runner in, well, we the team doesn't want to, you know, expire, so we fight for
Seems like a nice way to
well,
live. Swarm.
either breaking the cycle or just
Yeah. How could they deserve punishment?
getting more time for ourselves. Well, that's just the perspective I'm interpreting the story from. So I'm not saying that's the absolute truth or anything, or the intention from the author. I, of course, don't know that. I enjoy what I get
Remember the battlefield at Canada?
in terms of the story.
I found it there.
Just saying that is a thing that you can stick a pin in.
Is Nimue
But then
before?
there is another thing that almost borders on
Maybe it's the same women.
want to see it, you can't unsee it.
Do you reckon the past
And that is, I think,
elegant?
I have this sort of fan foil hat, not really serious or sincere theory here about the overarching Xeno theme, and that is
What I wanted to say was.
internet fan fights.
Suppose we could change. But you know,
Okay,
some things
strap in.
some-
We're gonna end this video with that. I promise.
'Cause this time round we're all aboard. Things will be different.
So,
We're with you.
kind of a common thing in all of the Xeno series is that we have this original conflict
Well,
that we start out
might
with.
be a cuppa.
In this game, of course, it is Kevas versus Agnes. In Xenogears, it is Kislev versus Ave. In Xenosaga, you might argue that it is humanity versus Gnosis, or the Federation and Kukai Foundation versus the Utic organization.
At this rate, it's going to be up
But
to us.
yeah, also the
No people
Bionis versus Mechon races in Xenoblade 1.
I guess so, but
Um,
if we don't, this place is done for.
through the story of those games, that conflict is pretty much declared invalid. Sort of, yeah, invalidating the whole thing is wholesale.
What's that?
And you could say that this is a commentary on internet fan fights, like people arguing whether Xenosaga is better than Xenoblade, and or the reversed. Spoiler alert, by the way, Xenosaga is better than Xenoblade. So there. Anyway, that's kind of pointless, those fights, right? If you enjoy Xenosaga more than Xenoblade, then Xenosaga is better for you. If you enjoy Xenoblade more than you enjoy Xenosaga, Xenoblade is your stuff. Go and enjoy it. Please, you have my blessing, I promise. And yeah, I don't know if I have any more to elaborate on that, to be perfectly honest. It's just something something that popped up in my head. But you know, maybe now that you've seen it, you can't unsee it, like like I do, perhaps. Well, yeah, I don't know how the big bad fits into this whole thing, but yeah, I am going to end the commentary track here, play some more, and then eventually go and actually record the gameplay footage that I attach to this commentary, and yeah, stay tuned. Though not in a hurry. I wonder if the next game I have any real plans to cover is going to be the Wataru Mono JRPG, not visual novel plus SRPG, judging by the trailers I've seen. That will be coming soon.
This for honest.
Yeah, I don't know. Keep a tab on my channel in mid to late October maybe, and we'll see what happens then. That is it for now. Over and out.
It's ancient, so it must be a malfunction or something. Remember, the people here aren't part of the flame clock system.
You make a good point.
I've got it! All of this! It's this thing's fault!
Huh? What is?
It was really bothering me. This place has been safe all this time. Why is Mobius just now taking notice? This is why. For whatever reason, this decrepit Veronis has come back online.
That's how they found out.
Indeed. After all this time, it's bad luck for the people here.
Taiyan?
Riku, do you know much about Veronises?
Silly question. Maintaining Colony 9 for Ronis was one of many jobs of Riku.
Oh yeah, right. That sure kept you busy.
That's perfect. Then could you take a look at this?
What for?
If it still happens to work, we just might save this place.
No way. So what if we get it to work? This thing's fighting days are done.
It won't have to fight. We're going to play a little trick.
Trick?